Hey there everyone, welcome back to another video. Kovac here, and for this one I'll be doing something a little bit different today. Viewer requested to do a list, basically the best tier 1 pets for each family type. So I thought it'd be a pretty cool idea slash list, so figured I'd give it a go. Now keep in mind that this is all opinionated, although some of these are pretty much a no-brainer, but I will go over all of the pets that I believe to be the best tier 1 pets for that family type, the moveset you should go with, where to get them, and all that other good jazz. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. Now, we'll start from the left, make it all the way to the right. We have 10 family types, being Humanoid, Dragonkin, Flying, Undead, Critter, Magic, Elemental, Beast, Aquatic, and Mechanicals. Starting out with humanoids, this is pretty much a no-brainer. No other humanoid really compares to the Fiendish Imp. Fiendish Imp has been a pretty OP pet for a long while now, so that's no surprise that it's the best humanoid pretty much out there. I know a bunch of people will be like, well, what about Merkalot? Well, Merkalot I would consider a tier 0 pet, which is absolutely broken, so I wouldn't say Fiendish Imp is absolutely broken, but it definitely is an OP pet. Now, as far as getting Fiendish Imp, he is, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name, but he drops off of that particular individual inside of Karazhan. He is a kind of a hidden boss behind a is it a staircase? Yeah, I think it's a staircase. So you simply go back there, kill him, and you'll have a chance at the Fiendish Imp. He does have 3 breeds. Obviously, the one you want is the SS breed, because that is what makes the Fiendish Imp so good, is that sweet 333 speed. Because as long as you're faster, you can take advantage of Nethergate big time by swapping out your opponent, basically making them lose a turn. You throw up your Immolation. Immolation will last for 9 turns, and you can swap out, and you'll still be doing damage. Not only that, but Immolation can take care of things such as decoys and bubbles, which is very nifty, as well as him being a humanoid, so he'll heal up for 4% every time he does damage. Immolation does do damage, so he will be healing up back there. And then obviously you want to take Burn as your basic attack. I don't know why you would ever take Seer Magic. That would be kind of a poor decision. But overall, Fiendish Imp, really good pet. It's probably going to continue to be a really good pet. And yeah, you just see this pet quite a bit, and for good reason too. Moving on to Dragonkin. Now this is another no-brainer. I guess another pet that could somewhat be second best would be the Twilight Whelpling, although the Clutch Sister is definitely a lot better. So the Twilight Clutch Sister, you get it off of Valiana. I probably pronounced that very wrong, but I apologize. It is in the Bastion of Twilight, a raid, and it does have 3 breeds as well, just like the Fiendish Imp. Obviously, the one you want is Power Speed, as it has the best stats for it. Moveset you're definitely going to want to go with is Twilight Fire, Phase Shift, as well as Twilight Meteorite. Twilight Meteorite is an absolute broken ability that only a handful of pets have. And it is pretty much the only AoE aside from that one mechanical AoE off of that Armored Vault bot that is not very balanced, because it does an absurd amount of damage to each pet, even a non-Dragonkin racial. Twilight Meteorite, that's well over 200 damage to each pet right there. So that is just insane. Twilight Fire is just a hard-hitting ability. Thank goodness it has a 1-turn cooldown, because the upfront damage along with the burn damage afterwards is just absolutely insane. Now, Phase Shift, Twilight Clutch Sister isn't the fastest pet in the world, although you will see quite a bit of pets that the Clutch Sister can surprisingly outspeed. So that does come in handy at times, although I sometimes do see some Clutch Sister running Prismatic Barrier. I don't really recommend it. Phase Shift is definitely the way to go. It is a very inexpensive pet to buy off the auction house in case if you can't find a Power Speed breed for whatever reason. So yeah, no surprise again why this is the best Dragonkin tier 1 pet out there. It's just really damn good. I'm not sure if they're ever going to do anything about Twilight Meteorite. It's been over an expansion now since it's been running rampant, so I doubt Blizzard's going to do anything. But Clutch Sister definitely would get this pet if you haven't already. Alright, moving on to flying types. Now this one was kind of a little bit difficult because there were quite a bit of flying types that could have definitely taken this spot, but I felt in my heart that the Fell-Afflicted Skyfin is definitely a step above a bunch of other tier 1 flying type pets. Now, it is a power type flying that you can get out of the Fell-Spotted Eggs, which are drops inside of Argus. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that the rare spawn cats are where you're going to really find the eggs from. So you basically wait. They have a pretty good drop chance. And not only that, but they're absolute dirt cheap. So like less than 100 gold we're talking about. So you can easily get hold of this pet. Not to mention it only has one breed, so you don't have to worry about that. Moveset you're definitely going to want are Fell Immolate, Wild Magic. Although Glowing Toxin is not a half bad idea either. I have seen some Fell-Afflicted Skyfins run this, and it did perform well for them. But I feel like Wild Magic would definitely be a little bit better. And then obviously Wing Buffet. It just does an absurd amount of damage thanks to that attack power. And again, just like the Phoenix Ship, it is a swap out. As long as you're faster, you're essentially making your opponent waste a turn. Now, you being a flying type, you should be going first 9 times out of 10, unless of course you're going against a flying type who is faster than you. So yeah, Fell-Afflicted Skyfin, very easy pet to get, really damn broken I would say, as long as it's got its racial anyway, and it's just able to pump out so much damage with Fell Immolate as well as Wild Magic. So definitely recommend getting this pet if you haven't already. Absolutely dirt cheap, just like I said. Now, moving on over to Undeads. This was a really hard decision as there are a lot of great Undead pets out there. But I feel like the Frostwolf Ghost Pup just, I mean, look at here. I've got him on 22 teams. He's just a really damn good Undead pet. I definitely believe he's the best Undead pet there is as far as tier 1 goes. Now, the reason being is because he's got Scratch, which takes care of other undeads, and it is weak to humanoids. However, you do have Ghostly Bite, which is just a straight up 690, well, even more if it's going against a humanoid. It just absolutely tears apart both undeads as well as humanoids. Not only that, but it's got Haunting Song, which I believe to be one of the better abilities now in pet battles. It's just really damn good, especially on the Ghost Pup with his high attack power. Sometimes you'll see it, even though it does say 276, I have seen this ability heal pets for over 300, which is absolutely absurd. It's just a really great tier 1 pet, man. I mean, you can basically put the Ghost Pup on any team, and it's just going to perform very well. And like I said, it only has one breed being Power, which is absolutely fantastic. How you get the Ghost Pup is from Archaeology. So, probably has to be related with Draenor. But nowadays, it's pretty inexpensive pet, so you could find it off the auction house. As far as the other abilities go, I definitely don't recommend running Sneak Attack. Even under a Darkness team, I mean, there is still that 90% chance. I mean, actually 10% chance that you'll miss, but Scratch is probably the better way to go. Obviously Haunting Song and obviously Ghostly Bite because Frolic's not very good. So yeah, Frostwolf Ghost Pup, I definitely feel like in my heart anyways that this is the best tier 1 pet out there. I'm sure some people may argue with me, but that's just my personal opinion. So let's move on to Critters now. Critters, it was kind of hard to find a really great critter. Not because there are a bunch of really great tier 1 critters, but there's just not very many of them, honestly. But the Frostfur Rat by far is the best critter, I would think. Tier 1 anyways. I guess another one could be the Gleamhoof Fawn. However, Call of Darkness just completely shuts down freaking the Gleamhoof Fawn's healing. So I definitely feel like the Frostfur Rat won the ticket as far as Tier 1 best critter goes. Now, you can get the Frostfur Rat inside of Frostfire Ridge. They're kind of all over the place. He does have quite a bit, can't get the words out, quite a bit of breeds available to him. However, the one that you definitely want to get is the SS. I guess a case can be made for maybe the power speed. I have seen Hero use that particular breed and it worked out well for him. But the SS breed I would definitely recommend. Definitely would take Flurry. However, Sneak Attack might not be a half bad option, as you can throw up your own darkness. You can go with Refuge, but I would only do that if you had one, maybe two other critters on your team with you, because it only works on critters. And Crouch, that's pretty much the one you're basically going to go with on this tier anyway. With you being an SS breed, you should be going first 9 times out of 10, so you'll take advantage of Crouch even more. And then obviously you want to go with Call Darkness. It's just a great ability. As well as buffing up your damage with Sneak Attack if you so choose to go with that. However, Flurry is just a damn good ability. As long as you're faster, which like I said, should be faster 9 times out of 10, you'll be guaranteed 2 hits, and Flurry is the best, hands down, multi-hit ability in the game, able to take down decoys in just 1 attack as well as bubbles, and it's just really damn great. Again, Frostfire Ridge, pretty easy pet to get, you just have to get the right breed. Moving on, we have magic types. Now, I know I'm probably going to get someone saying, now what about the Hydro Wisp? But hear me out. I definitely believe that Trunks is the best magic type pet because there are a bunch of darkness teams running out about. Darkness teams are pretty much not going to go anywhere. They absolutely shut down the Hydro Wisp as far as Wish goes. Not only that, but Trunks can shut down darkness teams pretty well. For one, he's got a weather changer in the form of Moonfire. 2, if you're running him with a pet such as Poda with Uncanny Luck, when LX Fly is just going to absolutely tear through those birds, which you'll see a lot of darkness birds, or pretty much any darkness pet is just going to get absolutely torn apart by that ridiculous damage with one LX Fly. Not only that, but you can go with Headbutt or Avalanche. Either or is great, I guess, but probably going to go with Avalanche 9 times out of 10. Now, as far as getting Trunks, he may be the most difficult pet to get on the list by far because you have to go through quite a bit of a quest chain battling different tamers throughout Azeroth, including the Celestial Tournament. And the Celestial Tournament, you have 9 trainers to face, so you will be doing this for quite a while. And you will need a pet known as the Elec Plushie in order to complete this achievement. But it is definitely worth getting. Trunks is just a really damn good pet. I see him quite a bit. He's definitely, I would say, the best magic type pet. I don't see Hydro Wisps a whole lot. Not saying that the Hydro Wisp is not a really good tier 1 pet. I'm just saying that Trunks definitely is better in a way. So there goes our best magic type right there. Moving on, we are going to elementals. Now this is pretty much a no-brainer. Now some people may argue that the Blossoming Ancient might be just as good. I would say Brute is better simply because he's got more attack power. They both have the same amount of health. However, Blossoming Ancient is a little faster, but I don't think the speed really matters because your main priority is being a tanky pet that will basically never die. Unless if your opponent has really strong aquatic damage or a weather changer of some sort. So obviously the basic build you will go with if you want to be a bastard and want people to hate you, you will go with Iron Bark, Photosynthesis, and Sunlight. However, I do like to play around with this pet with the non-alternative build. being Poison Branch, Bark Skin, and I Am Brute, which is a pretty cool ability, I might add. Now, with this build, it's still a pretty decent pet, but he's just not absolutely broken with this. Sunlight's just been around for quite a while, and I don't see Blizzard doing anything about it either. So yeah, Brute definitely, I would say, is probably the best elemental pet there is. And not only that, but if you are to get the Blossoming Ancient, you have to actually pay money to get them. So, and Brute you can just get in game. You just have to have a Druid inside of the Order Hall, and you'll be looting the seeds until you finally get Brute. So yeah, I would definitely say Brute in a way is better than Blossoming Ancient, and overall just a really overpowered elemental pet. Next up, now this is obviously a no-brainer. Vengeful Porcupet's just a really damn good pet. Now, I did not really find out about this pet until years ago that I watched Hiru's Best Pets in Draenor video, and his absolute best pet was indeed Vengeful Porcupet, which I thought was very awesome. Now, things that the Vengeful Porcupet has going for it: has really high health, decent attack power, but the speed is low, but that absolutely does not matter because of Powerball. Each time you use Powerball, even if it's a miss, your speed will increase by 20%, and that speed increase will stay even if you swap out. So, really great ability there. Next up, Spirit Spikes, definitely over Survival. Spirit Spikes is just a really damn good defensive ability. If you are going first, which you should be after using quite a bit of Powerballs, Spirit Spikes, you'll basically get 2 turns out of it. The turn that you use it and the turn right after. Now, assuming that you go first and your opponent attacks you, they will be taking quite a bit of reflect damage in the form of 309 baseline. Now, with your beast ratio, this is buffed up, so they'll take even more damage. So, just a really great ability right there. And then obviously you want to take Flank. Not as great as Flurry because it's not coded differently like Flurry, but Flank is still a great ability because it tears through Undeads, which is one of the most popular pet types that you'll see in the meta. So overall, just a really damn good pet. Just like the Frostwolf Ghost Puck, can pretty much throw it on any team that you want, and it's going to perform very, very well. As far as getting the Vengeful Porcupet, you will have to go to Timeless Isle, and I believe you have to take down the opposite faction and get bloody coins. However, the Vengeful Porcupet is kind of inexpensive nowadays, so I'm sure you could just find it for a pretty good deal on the auction house. I definitely recommend getting this pet if you haven't already. It's definitely my favorite beast type, and it's named Hiru, rightfully so, because he's basically what made me find this awesome pet. So definitely the best beast type by an absolute landslide. And yeah, it's just a really great pet. Moving on to aquatics. Now this is kind of a no-brainer as well. I know some people may argue, oh, well, what about their hermit? Well, not the hermit crab, the emperor crab. Now, you don't really see the emperor crab nowadays, surprisingly, but the hermit crab, however, is kind of running rampant. I mean, I don't really see it that often, unless if I'm, of course, using it, because this is probably my favorite pet in the game. It's just really, really, really great. Now, as far as getting the hermit crab goes, it is in Vol'dun. Along the coast, there are a ton of spawn points. Not only that, but it only has one breed available to it in the form of the SS breed. The only breed it really needs. So if you wanted to camp out the spawn points until you found a rare, you totally could. That's exactly what I did. It's got overinflated stats. Normal SS breeds will have 325 speed at a minimum, but the hermit crab has 349. Put this in perspective, it is faster than the Ore Eater, SS breed anyway, faster than the SS breed Fiendish Imp. Let's see, and it's just faster than quite a bit of pets, faster than the Death Hatter Hatchling. It's just very, very quick. If you were to use the Vengeful Porcupet against it, I'm thinking you have to get at least... I think you have to get 2 Powerballs in. I was gonna say 3, but I know after 2 power balls you have like over 350 speed, so put that in perspective. That is pretty damn quick. So the great things that Hermit Crab has going for it, you definitely want to take Fish Slap. However, I have seen some people use Pinch. The problem with Pinch though is once you have it ramped up, if you swap out and swap back in, it will reset back to the lowest damage that it can do at first. So you're taking that risk, but it's just a straight up 380 once you do have it ramped up. However, Fish Slap does have that chance to hit high, low, but under Cleansing Rain, which is where I like to put Hermit Crab on those sort of teams, Fish Slap can actually hit up to over 400. So it's just a pretty hard-hitting aquatic type ability. Next up, Shell Armor or Bubble. This is kind of situational too. I have seen Hermit Crabs run either or. I prefer to run Shell Armor because, I mean, look at that speed. You should be going first quite a bit, so you'll be able to take advantage of Shell Armor more often than not. I could not find the words right there. However, Bubble is definitely not a force to not be reckoned with. Am I saying that correctly? It does have its uses, is what I'm trying to say. However, I do feel like Shell Armor is a bit better. Dive, I would say, is a hell of a lot better than Whirlpool because you should be going faster anyway, allowing you to dodge an ability. However, Whirlpool, you can kind of see it coming, so once you set it up, your opponent has time to dance around it and try to dodge it and all that good jazz. Whereas Dive, you can pretty much dodge an ability and do quite a bit of damage once you come back up. Overall, Hermit Crab, definitely one of the best pets there is, and definitely the best aquatic type that there is by a landslide, so definitely recommend getting this pet as well if you haven't already. Now, we move on to Mechanicals, our final family type that we have. And this was kind of hard too. Similar to the Critters, there aren't really particularly overpowered Mechanicals, I would say. But if I had to choose one that I thought was the absolute best there is in game, I would say the Alarma Dog. Simply because it is an HH breed with quite a bit of health for an HH type. Baseline for HH types are 1725 if I'm not mistaken. A good example of this is the Anubis Idol. The Alarma Dog has a bit more than that too, so that's pretty great. Has pretty good attack power for a high health pet, and the speed on the pet doesn't really matter. Now, as far as getting Alarma Dog, you will have to do the Nomergon dungeon 3 times, so that's pretty much 3 weeks that you're gonna have to do it to get the currency that you need in order to purchase it. If you don't want to do that, Alarma Dog is actually worth quite a bit on the auction house as far as I'm concerned. I could be wrong, the price may have dropped sometime recently, but overall I would say it's a pretty expensive pet for good reason too. I don't really know anyone who would really want to go through that 3 weeks and not want quite a bit of gold for this pet. As far as the abilities go, I would definitely go with Alert, as it is a multi-hit ability similar to Flurry. It can take down decoys and bubbles, so that's always nice. Batter, I guess you could take that as long as you're taking Overtune, but you're pretty much going to have to be using Overtune every other turn because Alarma Dog is really slow, so that's where Alert comes in handy. So I definitely don't recommend taking Screeching Gears. Overtune is definitely the way to go because that extra speed could always be nice as far as maybe finishing off a pet. And then Haywire or Minefield. Haywire isn't a bad ability. It's actually pretty great. However, Minefield is pretty much the bread and butter on this pet, I would say. Just throw Minefield down. You can swap out their pet with something such as a Fail-Afflicted Skyfin, which is a pet that I love to pair with the Alarma Dog. And it's just a lot of damage on your opponent. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the Alarma Dog. Not much more to say about it. Overall, I would say it's probably the best mechanical type there is. I guess I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. I just couldn't really find one that I thought was really, really overpowered, but I just thought the Alarma Dog might have been the best. Same thing for critters too. So yeah, I think that will just about wrap up the list. Again, this is all opinionated, so if you would like to let me know if there was a pet that I missed or a pet that you feel like should have been on the list, feel free to let me know down below. So with that, this is Kovac, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.